Welcome to your yoga HIIT workout. Make your way into a child's pose to start. And just take a few breaths here, breathing space down into your low back. Every time you exhale, let your hips get a little heavier onto your heels. Even though this is a yoga HIIT practice, it's still yoga. So remember to listen to your body and move in a way that feels good for you. If you need to take a break, coming back to this position is a great option at any time. Connecting to your breath here before we start to move is just as important as it is in any other yoga practice. Come forwards into a tabletop position, stacking shoulders over wrists, knees under hips. Move into an arched spine position and just move around here, rocking forward and back, side to side, maybe circling your torso and hips one way and then the other. Coming back to neutral, rounding out the back, so head and tail are tucked. And again, just moving around in this position, rocking, rotating side to side and around in circles, warming all the major joints here. Breathing in a way that feels natural to you. Come back to neutral and turn your fingers out to the sides, rocking side to side. Shoulders as far to the right as they'll go, and then over to the left. Back and forth a few times, warming the wrists. Turn your fingers in towards your knees and rock back and forth. As you rock back, lift the heels of the hands up. And do that a few times. And then hold it back in this stretched position. So the heels are slightly lifted. You feel a bit of compression in the front of the wrists, lengthening through the forearms. Make your way back to hands and knees. Turn your hands forwards. Tuck your toes and take a seat back onto your heels with the toes tucked under. Make some movements with the wrists, circling them in one direction a few times and in the other direction a few times. Make your way back onto hands and knees and tabletop. Tuck the toes and step back into an upside down V shape. Push the floor away firm with your hands, lift through the low belly, and each time we come back to this position, get strong in the upper body, strong through the belly, and connect with your breath. Walk the hands back to meet your feet, and we'll come into a deep squat position, walking the feet a little wider than the hips, turning the toes out to the side, rocking side to side, back and forth, swiveling through the knees and hips and ankles, warming up those major joints of the low body. And then finding a place to rest here at center. You might be up on your toes. You might be down on flat feet, whichever feels more stable for you. Hands can be on the floor, or hands can be at heart center. And then just take a twist to one side, hand on one knee, looking over that same shoulder. And over to the other side, same thing, looking over one shoulder. Come back to center, round your back. Lift your tail towards the ceiling, walk your feet towards the midline, and then roll yourself up nice and slow. Take your time, shrug the shoulders. Inhale, reach up tall. Exhale, fold forwards. Walk the hands back to the top of your mat, so you end up in a plank position. Drop the knees, sink the hips only as deep as it feels comfortable in the low back. Keep your low belly drawn in, and if this position bothers your low back, just keep those hips lifted a bit higher. Round your back, sink back to an active child's pose, stretching out the arms and the side bodies. Come forwards to table. Tuck the toes, lift the hips. Walk the feet to the top of your mat to meet your hands. Breathe in and lengthen. Exhale and fold. Inhale to rise up tall and strong. A little bit of a back bend at the top. And fold again. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale. Step back with your right foot, back with your left. Low push up, nice and slow and controlled, all the way to your belly. Lift the legs, lift the arms. So you're balancing between your ribs and your hips here. Get longer as you inhale, lift higher as you exhale, and keep pulling the belly in towards the spine. Hands underneath your shoulders, tuck the toes, and press straight up to a plank. Hips high into downward dog. Take a few breaths. Remember, anchor down through the hands. Step your right foot forwards first, then the left. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, fold. Root down and rise on your inhale. Exhale, fold again. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale to step back on the left and then the right. From your high plank, lower, slow, controlled, leading with the chest. Landing on the belly once again and floating the arms and legs. This time maybe interlacing the fingers above the buttocks to open the chest a bit more. Breathe into the rib cage, the side bodies, the back body, but keep your low belly pulled in. Tuck the toes, hands under the shoulders, press straight up and back to down dog. Breathe here. Step forwards on the left and then the right. Fold forwards deep. Root down and rise up on your inhale. Little back bend and fold again as you exhale. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale and step back on that right foot. Sweep the left leg up overhead. Open, bend, and stretch. It's almost like you're peeing on a fire hydrant. Really hike that left knee towards the ceiling. Guide that knee down and sort of let it dangle underneath as you kick it out towards the right. Plant the pinky toe edge and reach up and back with your right arm. Right hand comes back down. That left leg kicks high, straight up. And then step it right up between your hands. Stay high on the back toe. Legs are hip-width distance apart as you float the arms by your sides. Looking for one long line from head to left heel. Draw the belly and ribs in and up off the front thigh. Nice deep lunge with the front knee. Right arm stretches forwards. Right elbow hooks to the outer thigh. As you press your palms together, lift the belly up off the thigh and twist. Maybe shifting the gaze to look over your left shoulder. If you're feeling wobbly here, you can keep the gaze looking down at your bottom foot. Come back to center, slow and controlled. Reach up to crescent lunge. Guide the elbows out to the side, nice broad collarbones, gaze lifted. Inhale, reach up, hands to the mat. Step to plank. Chaturanga from the knees or the toes. Inhale, lift the chest, shoulders down and back. Exhale, step back to down dog. Right foot steps forwards, left foot follows. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, fold. Root down and rise on your inhale. And exhale, fold again. Breathe in and lengthen. Breathe out and step back on the left. Sweep the right leg up, open, bend, and stretch. See how much distance you can get between your top knee and your bottom heel. Guide that right knee down and through underneath of you. Land the pinky toe edge, reach up and back. Left hand comes back to the mat. Kick your right leg high and step forwards between the hands. Hip width distance with the feet to stay balanced. Arms back, spine long. Breath steady, gaze focused. Sweep that left arm forwards, hook the elbow, palms press. Lift the belly up off the thigh as you twist. Shifting the gaze up and over the right shoulder. On your next inhale, come back to center. Lengthen up, reach tall, looking for that bit of a back bend as you guide the elbows out, broad collarbones, open chest. Inhale to reach up and hands back to the mat. We step to plank. Lower, lift the chest, strong belly here even as you go into this back bend and step back into down dog. Each time we come back to down dog, connect with your breath. Rise high on your toes, bend your knees, step forwards on the left and then the right. Breathe in and lengthen. Breathe out and fold. Inhale to rise tall, little back bend at the top. And exhale, hands to heart. Find your sit. Grab yourself a sip of water. Take a little breather here. We'll begin back at the top of our mat again. So once you've had some water, position yourself at the top end of your mat. Feet side by side, big toes turned in towards one another. Little space between the heels. Sit the hips down low, arms out long, and just pulse here up and down. Little movements. Eyes steady and focused, breath steady, keep pulsing. And fold. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale, plant the hands, bend the knees, and hop back and forth 5 times. Hold your plank pose and add 5 push-ups here. Elbows in close to the side bodies. So think chaturanga on the way down and push back up to plank. The hips high to down dog. Right foot steps forwards, back heel down flat on a 45. And inhale to rise to warrior 1. Stay rooted in your back heel and sweep the arms around behind the back and interlace the fingers. Stretch the arms back long and pull the hands off the back body just a bit. Breathe into the chest and the rib cage. Release that grip. Reach up. Inhale. Exhale. Hands to the mat. Step back to plank. Low push-up. Inhale to lift the chest, shoulders down and back. Strong belly takes you back to down dog. Step forwards on the left foot, ground that right heel, and rise again to warrior 1 on this side. Balance the weight between both legs. Strong from your center here. Sweep the arms around behind once again, and interlace the fingers behind the back. And once you get a good grip behind the back, open the chest, nice strong breath into the upper chest here to open up the space between your shoulder blades, between the front of your shoulders. Inhale to reach up. Exhale, plant those hands, step back and lower. Same exhale takes you down. Inhale brings you up. Exhale back into that upside down V shape. High on the toes, bend the knees and hop forward and back 5 times. Once you get to the top, big toes back together, leave that space between the heels into your squat pulse position again, up and down, little movements, just a couple of inches up, a couple of inches down. Inhale, rise, stretch it out, relax the arms. One more just like that. Big toes together, bend those knees, sit low, sit deep, find that pulse. Breathe while you're here. Good work. And fold hands to the mat. Take a breath in and lengthen. Exhale. Plant the hands. 5 hops. Let's go. Back and forth. Double leg mountain climbers. End up in a plank here. 5 push-ups. Basically 5 little chaturangas, and then back to your upside down V shape. Right foot forwards, back heel flat. Rise on up, warrior 1. And arms come right around behind you again. Clasp fingers and fold forwards with those fingers clasped behind your back. Stay rooted through your back heel. Lift the arms as high off the backside as you can. Take a few breaths here between the shoulder blades. Rise up strong. Sweep those arms overhead. Hands to the mat. Find your plank position. Lower for 5. 5 little push-ups. And hips high to down dog. Same thing on the left side. Left foot forwards, right heel down flat. Rise on up strong and tall. Sweep those arms around and interlace. Root back. Reach your chest forwards. Lean it to the inside of that left thigh as you lift the arms as high off the backside as you can. Breathe space in between your shoulder blades. Rise tall, release that grip, sweep the arms overhead. Hands to the mat, exhale, step back and lower. In 5 push-ups. And we'll end up back in downward facing dog. Good work. High on those toes, we're almost there. 5 hops. Takes us back to the top. Big toes together, deep squat pulse, and breathe. Shoulders down away from the ears. Almost there. Great work. Stand it up, stretch it out, and relax those arms down. Take a little breather. Grab yourself a sip of water if you need. We'll meet again at the top of our mat. And from here we're going into our lunge sequence. Our high intensity move for this portion will be jumping jacks. Come to the top of your mat, standing tall. Take a breath in, circle those arms up, little back bend at the top. Fold forwards, plant your hands. Breathe in and lengthen. Plant those hands and hop back to plank. Lift your chest and lift your hips, stepping back to down dog. Right foot steps forwards between the hands. Float the arms into runner's lunge. Nice strong back body here. Draw the belly towards the spine. Our back knee becomes a spring. Push off with that back leg so you're balanced on the right foot. And then tip on your right hip into a capital T shape, toppling tree. Get strong through the center, so draw up through the belly. Kick strong through your left leg, just as strong as that standing supportive right leg. And then step back to plank, low push-up, up dog, and down dog. Good job. Step forwards on the left. Same thing here. Arms by the sides. Get strong in the back body, strong in your center. Your back knee bends, and again, it becomes your spring. Push off and balance. Tip on the left hip. Kick strong with the right. Eyes steady and focused. Breath steady. Breathe here. Step back to plank. A low push-up. Inhale, lift the chest. Exhale, lift the hips. Back to down dog. Walk your hands to meet your feet. Roll yourself up to a standing position. We're going into our first set of jacks. 30 seconds. Let's go. Draw the belly in. Keep your ribs pulled in. Remember, you can slow these down if you need. So if your joints are feeling a little bit tender or if your heart rate's super high, just slow it down a bit. You can go to a step touch option instead of this hopping option. Keeping the elbows a little bit bent can also make this more comfortable in the shoulders. Keep breathing. Great job. Come on. Back to the back end of your mat. Take a breath in and reach up tall. Fold forwards, hands to the floor, and walk it back out to a plank. From your high plank position, lower down, elbows in, lift the chest, and lift the hips back to down dog. You can always skip that vinyasa movement and just go right to downward dog. We'll always meet there. Find your way back to runner's lunge. Push off with your left knee. Find your toppling tree and hold it here for a few breaths. Bend both knees here. Rise up. Kick your left leg straight forward. So push through that left heel, flex the toes towards the ceiling, get long and tall through the upper body, lift that left leg as high as you can. Just keep it straight and pulse it. And bend both knees and step back to lunge. Find your plank. Remember, you can skip this vinyasa movement and just meet us in down dog if your shoulders are starting to feel really tired or if you just want to make it a little bit easier. Other side, left foot steps forward. Stay high on the right toe. Find your runner's lunge to start. Push off with that back knee. Toppling tree for a few breaths. Draw your belly in for support, stability. Eyes steady. Bend both knees. Draw that right knee forwards and through. Strong, tall. Shoulders right over the hips as you lengthen through the right heel. Flex the right toes to point up. Draw the belly in. Straighten the left leg as much as you can and pulse those right toes. Good work. Bend and step back to lunge, back to plank, and take that vinyasa movement. Making your way back to a down dog. Walk your hands back to meet your feet. Rise on up. Our second set of jacks. Let's go. 30 seconds. Remember, you want to push yourself here. Push yourself during these high-intensity interval bursts, but also listen to your body. If your heart rate's saying, what the heck is going on, you can slow it down a bit. Focus. Stay engaged through the belly here to protect your back through this bouncing and high-intensity move. Good work. Make your way back to the end of your mat. Take a breath in, reach up tall, and fold forwards. Breathe and lengthen out. Exhale, fold nice and deep. And then walk your hands back to the top of your mat, back to plank. Low push-up, chaturanga. Remember, again, you can skip this if you need. Meeting back in downward dog. We got one more option here. Right foot forwards, runner's lunge. Find your breath. Push off with that back leg. Power up, tipping from the hip. Get strong in both legs here. Draw the shoulders together behind you. Bend both knees. Rise up. This time your right leg wraps over your left. Left leg wraps over right. Sink and squeeze here as you wrap the left arm under the right. Bend. Get low, get deep. Breathe into the space between your shoulders. Unravel. Kick back to toppling tree. Let's take 5 more full breaths here. Step back to lunge. Option for vinyasa. And we'll meet back in down dog. You're getting there. Last side for this lunge sequence. Left side steps forwards. Find your runner's lunge to start. Push off with that back leg to make your way into your balanced pose, toppling tree. Find your focus. Dig deep here. Turning this into eagle pose, we bend both knees, right leg wraps over the left. Sink and squeeze. Balance out those hips as you wrap the right arm under the left. Lift the elbows off the chest a bit. Sink deeper. Unwind, step back to toppling tree, lengthen out. You're almost there. Great job. Bend it, step back to lunge, plank, vinyasa, and make your way to down dog. From your down dog, walk those hands to the back, meet your feet. Roll on up for your last set of jacks. Last 30 seconds, make them count. Go hard, go strong. You got this. Remember your connection to your low belly to support your spine. Soft knees and elbows help with the joints. Great job. Make your way back to the back end of your mat. Stretch it up nice and tall. Inhale. Exhale, fold forwards. Plant those hands. Walk yourself back to a plank pose. Top of your mat. Low push-up. Lift the chest. And lift the hips into down dog. From down dog, rise high on your toes. Bend your knees. Look to the hands and hop to the top. Breathe in to lengthen. Breathe out to fold. Root down and rise on your inhale. And exhale, hands to heart. Good job with that lunge sequence. It's powerful. It's strong. Take yourself a little drink break. Walk around the mat a couple times if you need. Get the heart rate down a bit. And we're heading into our next sequence, into our warrior sequence. Mountain climbers are our high intensity move, and we'll start again from the top of our mat. Inhale, sweep the arms up. Exhale, fold forwards, hands to the mat. Breathe in and lengthen. Breathe out, plant the hands and hop to plank. Inhale to lift the chest. Exhale to lift the hips. Down dog. Right foot forwards between the hands, back foot parallel with the back of your mat. Roll yourself up to warrior two, shoulders stacked above the hips. Bend that front knee. Keep your back leg long and strong. Arms straight out from your shoulders here. Hold this strong position in your lower body. Reach the upper body forwards. Right arm hinges down, left arm stretches up. Your gaze can turn up towards your top thumb. If your neck feels uncomfortable, just look to the side wall. Rise up, tick-tock the feet so your other toes turn to the back. Warrior two, other side, just facing the opposite direction. Bend deep into that left knee here. Take a few breaths and reach forwards. Left arm down, right arm up. Gaze up to the right thumb or down at the bottom thumb if that's more comfortable. Listen to your neck, listen to your shoulders. Rise again to warrior two. Relax the arms, lengthen the leg, turn both feet forward, step back to your lunge position, and then right into your plank, and we're going for 30 seconds into mountain climbers. Remember, your mountain climbers can be quick and steady pace like this, or you can slow these down a bit. Make it a little more slow and controlled movements, knee to elbow movements, picking the pace up like I'm doing here. We'll get the heart rate pumping a little higher. Pick your pleasure here. Make each second count for 5, 4, 3, 2, and hips high. Down dog. Left foot steps forwards between the hands, right foot down flat. Rise back up to your warrior 2 position, but this time we're going to stretch out the front leg, tip the hips towards the right, reach down with the left arm, right arm towards the ceiling. Looking for long legs and long side bodies here. Strong legs, strong belly towards the spine. Rise, relax the arms, and tick-tock the feet again. Right toes turn out, push the hips towards the left hip. Right arm down, left arm up. Lengthen out both sides of the waist. Breathe into that stretch along the top side body. Rise again, right toes in, left toes forwards. Bend that left knee, exalt your warrior or dancing warrior here as that left arm reaches up and back. Gaze turned upwards. Come back to warrior 2, lengthen the leg, and tick-tock this to the other side. Flip your right palm up, press back, look up, lunge deep into the right knee. Deep, steady breath. Come on up again. Relax the arms. Turn all 10 toes to face forwards and step back to plank. Mountain climbers, 30 seconds. Let's go. You've got this. Low belly is really important here. Keep that lower abdomen pulled towards the spine. That's going to give you great stability through your core here. Eyes look straight down between your hands or even slightly forwards. What you don't want to do is look towards your knees here. Keep the neck active and strong. Push the floor away with both hands. Lift up through the belly as you pedal those knees. Great work. Lift high into down dog, stretch it out. Right foot forwards between the hands. Left leg lifts into the air. Right hand stays on the floor underneath your shoulder as your left hand comes up and taps your left shoulder and maybe even rolls up towards the ceiling. Kick strong through that left leg as you start to roll that hip higher towards the ceiling. And then left hand back down, step back to your lunge. Maybe take a chaturanga or just meet us in down dog. Do the same half moon position on the other side. Left foot forwards first. Shift the weight forwards into that foot as you lift the right leg. Roll the right side up towards the ceiling. Right arm can reach straight up, or the fingers of the right hand can stay on that right shoulder. You might even float your left fingers for a breath or two to find that extra challenge for balance. Both hands back down, step to plank. Take your chaturanga. Meet us in down dog. And then one last time we're going into mountain climbers. Last set of mountain climbers. Make these 30 seconds count. Let's go. Strong, solid, focused work here. These 30 seconds fly by, so get moving right away. Pump those knees. Keep lifting up through the low belly. Keep pulling your chest up as if you've got a weight tied to the chest. Breathe. 5, 4, 3, 2, and relax. Step back to down dog. Rise high on your toes, knees to the mat, and take a child's pose here. A child's pose where you might want to draw the arms back alongside the legs for a few breaths to rest the shoulders. We've done a lot of plank work here with a little more to come. Come forwards to table. Grab yourself some water. Take a little breather here as we prepare for our core sequence. Our core sequence is made up of 4 moves that we'll cycle through a few times. This core sequence starts with us in a kneeling position with the toes tucked under. So go ahead and make your way to that kneeling position, that sort of toe stand kneeling position where your toes are tucked under and your knees are on the mat and you're sitting back on the heels. You might need a couple blocks for this, but otherwise, just working on balancing back onto the toes into sort of a balancing toe stand, lifting the knees, and then dropping them down to the floor, really slow and controlled. Power them up, slow and controlled on the way down. Do as many of them as you can here in 30 seconds. And on the last one, come all the way up to stand. Reach it up, stretch tall. Fold forwards. Walk yourself back to a plank pose. Right knee to right elbow, and we're sliding it for 5. Keep the knee as close to the elbow as you can on the right side for 5, and then switch to the left. Inhale to lower. Exhale to squeeze it up towards the armpit. Push those hips high to down dog. Hop forwards to a seated position. We're going right into V-sits, balancing between your sitting bones and tailbone. Inhale to open, exhale to squeeze closed. Move with your breath, going through these quick. So just get moving. Inhale as you open, lengthening out the legs, and exhale, squeezing those knees to chest. Plant your hands, crawl yourself back to a plank position. Lower the hips just as deep as it feels comfortable, but keep your low belly pulled towards the spine. Keep your tail tucked, so not losing that super active transverse abdominal connection. If you're lowering so deep that it bothers the hips or bothers the low back, that means you're going a little too far. Make your way back to your toe stand. Here we go again, second set. Toe stand, lower those knees, soft and controlled. Breathe with it here. You've got this. Don't worry if you topple over, just get right back in. Eyes focused, breath steady will help with this movement. Working through the feet, ankles, knees, hips, all the major joints being affected here, and really working our core strength and stability. Rise it on up, stretch it out, and fold again. Hands back to the mat. Walk it out to a plank, going back to that knee slide. So just 5 on each side. Keep that knee as close to the arm as possible. Inhale to lower, exhale to squeeze it up. Strong breath moving you up and down on both sides. Good work. Step back to down dog and hop forward to seated. Right into your V-sits. We got about 10 of these. Move with your breath. Inhale to open, exhale, squeeze it closed. If this bothers your hip flexors, squeeze your buttocks harder, firmer. Heels together, toes apart will help to activate your glutes a little deeper as well. Taking the pressure and all the work out of those hip flexors. Hop back to a plank pose again. From your plank, we're doing those hip lower and lifts. Not lifting back to a down dog, but just lifting up to a strong plank each time. Inhale, lower, exhale, squeeze it back to plank. Remember that weight tied to your chest. Pull up on that weight as you step back to down dog. Come back to that toe stand, sit one more time. Keep those toes tucked under, sit back. And again, we're going to do about 10 here. If you can't quite do 10, just do as many as you can. Slow and controlled, up and down. Keep it going. You're almost there. On that last one, we're going to stand it up tall. Reach it out, stretch it out. Little back bend. And fold forwards. Good work. Walk it out to plank. You got 5 more of these on both sides. I know you're tired, but let's just get through them as well as you can. If you need to do this from your knees, you can. It'll make it a little bit easier. Or if you need to just hold your plank, that's okay too. Do your best. Push yourself. We're coming to the tail end. High on those toes. Hop through to seated. Our V-sits one last time. I know you're breathing heavy. I know you're sweating, but keep it going. And our last exercise, make your way back to a plank. We've done a lot of plank work, so I'm certain your shoulders are feeling it, but we are almost there. Count them out. We got 5, 4, 3, 2, last one. Great job. Stretch out that low back and hips melt towards the floor. Breathe into the front of the hips and the belly. Only drop the hips as deep as you're comfortable here. And then round the back, sink back to child's pose and take a few breaths here. Nice deep breaths into your lower spine. Come on up. Now make your way to a seated position. Right leg long, left foot into the inner thigh. Turn your belly towards that left knee as you lengthen up and over towards the right. You might reach your left arm up and over to add to that side body stretch, but if there's any issues with the shoulder or neck, I encourage you to keep that left arm down. Leaning towards the right leg will still give you a good stretch along that left side body. Breathing down into that left side, that left hip. Rise up and fold over your right leg now. Curl the head towards that right knee. Breathing down into your lower back. Good work. Rise again. Then we're just going to switch legs here. So the right leg folds in, inner thigh towards that, right foot towards that inner thigh. Reach towards the left ankle or foot and reach the right arm up and over. Again, that big full body, side body stretch. Remember, option to keep the arm down if that's more comfortable for neck and shoulders. Just breathe into your right side body here. Rise again, square your shoulders and your hips over that left leg and fold. Reaching for the ankle, the foot, whatever you can reach comfortably. And then simply fold again, nose towards the knee or forehead towards the knee. Let the back round. Rise up. Right leg long. Left foot crosses to the outside of that leg. Hug your left knee in close to the chest and just twist and look over your left shoulder. Your back hand is helping you to sit taller. Breathing in to get longer in the spine. Breathing out to twist and look. And then turn away from that leg. Roll onto your right hip so your left hip basically stacks over the right. Rooted down through the right hand, push that left knee away as you look over the right shoulder towards the back. And come back to center and switch legs. Right foot steps to the outside of the left leg. Turn the belly towards your left thigh. Hug that knee in tight. Breathe in to sit tall and breathe out to twist, maybe looking over the right shoulder a bit. Twisting from the bottom of your spine right up through the top of your head. Unwind back to center, keeping the legs again the same. Plant that left hand, roll onto your left hip, and twist to look behind you again. Rise back to center, uncross your legs, cross them again, cross your ankles, and make your way onto your knees. So kneeling, but this time with the toes pointed back. And we'll just lean back as deep as it's accessible for you, stretching out through the front of the hips, the front of the thighs. Walk the hands back, maybe even walk down onto the elbows, the forearms. Or some of you might even want to go right down to your shoulders, but just don't force this move. Even sitting up straight in this position can sometimes be a lot for the knees and ankles. You might need to sit a cushion between your ankles or sit your hips up on a block or something to make this more accessible. Nice deep breaths down into the front of the hips. Make your way back up tall, rising up, walking those legs back out. Roll yourself down onto your back. Guide those knees in with you. And just rock side to side on the low back a couple times. Walk the heels in nice and close to your buttocks. Planted flat, lift your hips and walk the arms in underneath of you. You can interlace the fingers here if you like, or the hands can come beside the head with the elbows pointed towards the ceiling, prepping you for full wheel. You might stay right here and breathe, or you might push up onto the top of the head and breathe, or eventually you might even push so firmly that the top of the head comes away from the mat and breathe there. Rooting down strong through both feet, both hands, and then slowly unwinding yourself back down, one vertebra at a time from wherever you made it to. Once the hips touch down, let the knees sway like windshield wipers right and left a couple of times. Hips down, knees pull into the belly, heels press towards the ceiling, legs long. You can stay right here, especially if you've got anything going on with your neck, shoulders, or back. If your neck and shoulders feel healthy, lift those hips into the air, almost like you're setting up to do the bicycle, that old abdominal exercise from the 80s. But we're just going to keep the legs straight to start for a few breaths. And then let those legs come down so the toes reach towards the floor behind your head. They don't have to touch, but just let them move in that direction. Soften the knees. Relax the arms. And then we'll slowly start to roll out of this, one vertebra at a time. Control the movement on the way down. And then once your back is flat on the mat, take this to a happy baby pose. Knees out to the sides of the rib cage, holding the feet or ankles. Taking a few breaths there. You might even play with lengthening out the legs. And then release the bottoms of the feet to touch for a moment. Knees flare away from you, sort of a butterfly pose. Release the legs long. Roll your shoulders underneath of you so that the shoulder blades are flattened out onto the mat behind you. This broadens your collarbones. Feet can stay touching, knees dropped out to the sides, hands resting on your abdomen. Or you can stretch out those legs whenever you're ready to. Take a few breaths here. Feel each point of contact your body's making with the mat. Feel the rise and fall of your belly. Let the eyes soften back into their sockets. Notice the work you still feel in your body. Notice any tension or resistance. And let each inhale bring more awareness into your body. Let each exhale make your body a little more soft and relaxed. Have a great day.